Hello, it's Aki Anastasiou here. Welcome to another episode of What's Next. We're coming to you live from the Broad Media Studios in Centurion, and it's a great pleasure to welcome Muzzafar Nagvadari, who's the Executive Head for Merchant Solution Sales and Service SA for Standard Bank. Good day to you. Welcome. Thank you for coming through to our studios. Nice to meet you, Muzzafar.
Thanks, Aki.
Listen, you've been at Standard Bank for a long time. So Merchant Solutions, there's quite a few things that fall under your umbrella, right?
Yes.
But basically, any kind of card transaction that happens, you're the man.
100%. So like you said, look after the sales and service operations across SA. I've got a team across the provinces, managing and supporting our customers in their businesses as far as their end-to-end requirements are concerned.
Okay, fantastic. And then look, that's a big portfolio because when you look at how many transactions happen daily, I mean, the world is moving towards that. So I imagine that aside from the physical card, anything that you tap with your phone is also part of your portfolio.
So it's a card-present portfolio. It's a contactless environment along with the e-commerce, which obviously is on a massive rise at this point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. I'm looking forward to our chat because there's so much going on there in what you've just presented.
Yeah.
And really, you're the gateway to doing so much in our day-to-day lives, e-commerce, tap and pay and using the card, etc. But the reality is that the landscape of payments has really changed significantly over the last few years, especially for SMEs. What are you seeing?
So we've seen, major changes, over the years, like you've indicated. If I look at some of the trends globally at this point in time, we come from an era where transactional banking has been sort of, very, very dominant around cash, around EFTs. That's evolved into card acceptance, e-commerce. What we're seeing at this point in time, obviously, it's real-time, mobile first, where, the smartphone penetration obviously is on the rise. And furthermore, if you look at some of the focus at this point in time, there's a lot of work around some of the cross-border open banking APIs just to allow for the seamless cross-border sort of transactions. So that's from a global perspective, those are the trends at this point in time. If you bring it back on from an SA point of view, we've seen significant shifts over the years, right? I think the pandemic has played a vital role in accelerating some of the growth over the years. This transition and this growth was meant to happen, but over a 5-year period or over a 10-year period. But given the pandemic, that obviously accelerated, and obviously we've seen major changes over the past 2 years right now. Some of the reports that we are privy to at this point in time do indicate that 90% of SMEs out there are either accepting, digital form of payments at this point in time, or are ready to accept, this new norm, given that this area was predominantly cash heavy. So what you see in this environment is cash no longer being the king. You definitely do see clients wanting to have frictionless, seamless payment methods to scale and grow their businesses.
That is fascinating. I look at myself as you were talking there. When you mentioned mobile first, I think of myself, I actually don't carry a wallet anymore. I don't carry cash anymore. In fact, the only cash I carry, I keep behind my phone, my cover, just in case I need to pay for parking. But even that, you've got all those apps available today that the gates open instantaneously.
100%.
So I don't physically carry any cards. So it's very true when you look at those trends globally and those digital trends that you talk about, contactless payments. What should SMEs be aware of? I get the indication from you that they're kind of ready for this massive shift, which isn't going to happen. It's already happened. But what should they be aware of?
From an SA perspective, once again, you definitely see a massive demand for contactless. That's obviously tap and go at this point in time. You also do see, QR, payment methods coming through as well. Furthermore, introduction of new payment rails like Paysha, for example, to allow for that instant, real-time, low-value sort of, payment mechanisms as we speak. And furthermore, areas like your instant EFTs and buy now, pay later from an e-commerce perspective. So, those are the sort of major trends that you see. But, what's also interesting to understand and observe is it's not just how customers pay. It's also how businesses manage the environments at this point in time. So long gone are the days, for example, where, they will be using a simple card machine to sort of, provide simple payment capabilities. Customers are definitely looking for unified commerce ecosystems where you have the ability to sort of bring in your in-store sales, your online sales, your invoicing capabilities, the reconciliation, stock management, inventory management, all within one environment, just so that you can sort of almost have all of these components, managed, controlled centrally, rather than having multiple, modes and multiple forms and platforms to run these.
Yeah, there's different transactional.
100%.
So I was just thinking about what you were saying. So that little dumb terminal, I call it,
Yes.
used to be a dumb terminal.
Yes.
It's now a very smart terminal that's
Massive.
capable of doing
100%.
multi-transactional things, right?
100%.
Okay, that's very
100%.
interesting.
Yes.
Now, you often see a lot of old school people.
Yes.
When you say you want to tap, so no, I want to swipe my card.
Yes.
And of course, they're obviously concerned about fraud, for example.
Yeah.
Is there fraud that SME should be aware of? Because I imagine that in every environment there's some kind of fraud.
Yeah.
But what are you seeing in the market?
I mean, fraud will always be a challenge in the digital environment, unfortunately, Aki. And that impact should be felt within the card present space, along with the card not present environment as well. Challenges like your card skimming, for example, phishing, fake payment links, those are some of the evolving trends we see within this environment right now, and customers needs to be very much careful, because unfortunately these challenges and schemes do slow down the adoption of digital channels within our environment at this point in time. I think my advice and my sort of recommendation to businesses out there and end users out there would be to obviously ensure that they use reliable payment platforms which are PCI DSS compliant, which I think that is very important. Furthermore, always allow for a multi-factor authentication within the environment, whether it's password, whether it's OTP related. Furthermore, education is big within this space. I mean, to your point earlier on, customers tend to click on links when they get those emails coming through. So I mean, that sort of visibility, awareness, education to your own staff and to the end user, I think will definitely help us minimize the impact, going forward. And I think for me, the most important is always making sure that your systems are upgraded, are up to date, which are not sort of, privy to some of these issues that we experience within this environment at this point.
Yeah, those are such great points. No, I don't think we'll ever get rid of fraud.
We won't.
These guys are always up and trying to find a way of crooking us and doing funny things.
100%.
When you look at SMEs, I mean, we've been focusing a lot on SMEs, and I mean, they obviously face, quite a few challenges when they're adopting these new payment solutions, which they've got to, because at the end of the day, it's driven by customers. So if the customers are coming in and they're saying, this is what we want, then you've got to adopt it.
Yes.
What are the challenges that they face adopting these solutions?
Some of the high-level challenges and concerns we see, one definitely is infrastructure costs that these SMEs have to unfortunately consume. And if they don't have the right level of guidance, they can easily be misled, by procuring expensive devices or terminals, systems to run their businesses, data, etc., etc. So a lot of infrastructure cost issues are a bit of a challenge in the space. Secondly, being lack of access to capital, because this environment is very much cash heavy at this point in time. Most of the transactions don't go through a bank account, unfortunately, and this does create a bit of a limitation in them getting a formal audit trail, a verifiable legit audit trail to go into the banks and obviously apply for credit. So that's obviously a big issue at this point in time. Furthermore, multiple fragmented systems. So you'll notice within the SMEs at this point in time, they do toggle between various systems, unfortunately, which does create inefficiency in this organization within the environment, unfortunately. I think, as I said to you earlier on, massive reliance on cash as well, unfortunately. And the challenge is not that these businesses are resistant to digital change, unfortunately. They are led by customers who still prefer using cash to a certain extent. And I mean, that does pose a massive risk within the environment at this point in time. And I think one of the pieces which I believe, it's very much undermined within the space, I think it's lack of actionable business insights, where, some of these businesses do make decisions, do procure stock, do manage their businesses without much guidance from a data perspective. And I mean, if they do go and source some of these, information from a data perspective, those do come in very handy. So once again, if the right level of guidance and support is not there, you often see these SMEs struggling quite massively within this environment.
You know, it's such a good point that you make there. I was recently at an accounting conference,
Yes.
and they were specifically talking about how SMEs need to use technology. You know, this is all about the digital
100%.
transformation process, right?
100%.
And the more data you have, the better it is to scale your business, the better it is to have, real insights into your business that you can apply for credit, for example.
Yes.
You can grow your business, you can understand, you can start using AI in your business to really, streamline processes and automate a lot of things.
100%.
So all of these things, I mean, they sound fancy and everything, but at the end of the day, they really help those business owners unlock a lot more value within their businesses. And I guess that is the challenge that SMEs cost, because they have, because they've got to balance cost, they've got to balance infrastructure, convenience, security. So how do SMEs balance that, the cost, the convenience and the security when they select a payment platform?
I definitely would refer this to be a strategic trilemma in the lives of our clients, unfortunately, where they have to choose and prioritize one over another. I think as Standard Bank, we pride ourselves in helping customers, making the right decision, the right choice in terms of what they require. And all of these three, elements you've touched on, for example, from a security perspective, that's our baseline offering that we provide to our customers at this point in time. From a convenience point of view, that's already built in the platforms, solutions, products that we offer to our clients, as we speak. And from a
cost point of view as well, I imagine that's also a critical,
100%.
right?
And our solutions must cost effective. They needs to be affordable. They needs to be easily accessible as well. And I think more so.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, the amount of money that Standard Bank spends on solutions and R&D and that sort of thing, to make those client-facing solutions available there.
Yes.
I mean, you've invested a huge amount of money and acquisitions of, fintechs to make that space a lot more seamless.
Yeah, no, fully agree with you. I mean, once again, there will be a portion of that that obviously the customers will need to fund. But I mean, those should not be seen as an expense, but rather an investment to scale and grow their businesses in the near future.
And also what you can extract, the data that you can extract from these devices. I know we spoke about it earlier, these smart devices. There's a lot of, information about your business
100%.
that you can pull in and really use it to improve your business. I've heard of the term SimplyBLU mentioned quite a bit. What makes SimplyBLU different from traditional card machines?
Yeah, I mean, traditional machines offer simple, basic payment, capabilities on those hardwares. Whereas from a SimplyBLU perspective, as I've indicated to you, it provides that unified commerce, ecosystem where it sort of allows you to manage your in-store, sales or environment, your online environment, allowing the customers to accept multiple, payment methods through their terminals, for example, giving the customers ability to manage stock, to manage inventory from a reconciliation perspective, invoicing perspective, all within one environment. So customers no longer need to obviously use different channels, different methods to conduct their businesses.
Wow.
Everything is managed within that one environment. And I think it's that unification that sort of creates a differentiation for us right now.
It's really impressive, the capabilities that you've got in this machine.
Yes.
Are they able to do point of sale as well?
100%. So I mean, once again, from a SimplyBLU perspective, it's a platform play.
Okay.
So it's embedded in the background. So it's available to you on the actual hardware, the terminal itself. So that obviously is a key benefit. But furthermore, you can have a similar advantage of having the same experience on your app as well. So if you, for example, I mean, given how things are evolving right now, you can actually download the app. So long gone are the days where you need to actually wait for a physical terminal to conduct and run your businesses. You can simply just download the app, onboard yourself, create the merchant ID, for example. And if your phone or your Android device or your smartphone is NFC enabled, for example, you can actually start trading on your phone itself.
So payments.
100%. And you actually have a sort of a clear view in terms of exactly what businesses can do, some of the reports, some of the insights, inflows, outflows, all of that information is available onto your app itself. So we actually provide that omni-channel experience once again. So like if you
on your
indicate
device.
on your device, you get the same replicated view on your app itself. And furthermore, if you're running an online store, hypothetically, we'll have the same view provided to you on your platform or your web as well.
So that's very impressive, Muzzafar, because when I think about what you're saying, is that SimplyBLU is really an intelligence platform on steroids that is not just a payment, capturing device. You're able to do a lot more with it. I mean, what excites me about it is the fact that you can do your stock and you can do all sorts of things on that. It's really streamlining operations for SMEs.
100%.
And it goes beyond payments. I imagine you can pull reports and take that data and use that to, analyze your business further.
100%. And I think that's the one value add that we are really proud of. We do provide these free of charge to our clients and our merchants at this point in time. So, I mean, we do understand the impact data has, in the lives of our customers, and hence how we use it, to what extent we use it is very important. I mean, as you've indicated right now, from a data perspective, there are so many use cases that obviously we can share and provide to our clients at this point in time. One definitely being, your peak hours, in terms of, when do customers walk through, when are your busiest periods?
The quiet times as well.
Quiet times as well. So from a scheduling perspective, from a staffing perspective, you're able to plan and forecast, quite proactively in advance. So that's obviously one of the use cases. From a stock management perspective, inventory management perspective, these devices that we offer do come with a barcode scanner. So you can actually scan these things into your environments. You're also able to then, from a stock taking perspective, manage the inflows, outflows quite seamlessly.
And into invoices, I imagine, if orders come in, you're able to put that stuff in as well.
100%.
So your business is on a terminal like that. SimplyBLU is the heart of your business, which is brilliant. Are there examples of businesses or SMEs that have been using SimplyBLU that really have helped them grow and manage their businesses better and more efficiently? Have you guys got, I'm sure you've got tons of examples like this.
Yes. So, I mean, one of our valued customers that we currently bank acquire at this point in time, so they primarily manage and run sporting events across the country. So they go into the respective stadiums and they offer snacks and drinks in the background.
So these are the guys that walk around the stadium selling chips and cold drinks. And from what I can remember, they never used to take cards. You'd have to have cash to pay for whatever you purchased.
That was a big issue. Furthermore, from a process perspective, very manual, very cumbersome, and very phlegmatic, unfortunately. And I mean, it was very difficult for them to run and manage the environments. And I think with the introduction of SimplyBLU, there were a lot of pain points we were able to solve for. I mean, as an example, as I've indicated to you earlier on, stock management, inventory management.
That's a big one.
It was a manual intake within their space, with us introducing our SimplyBLU offering, using the barcode scanner on the device. They were able to seamlessly manage and do some of the stock taking, in the environments. Furthermore, connectivity in those places is a big issue. And I mean, the good thing is that our devices are 5G LTE, with dual SIM. So if you do have a Wi-Fi, for example, within your space, be able to connect to your Wi-Fi, and there is a 2 SIM capability available, just so that you don't have challenges around the connectivity and comms within those environments going forward. I think once again, manning the queues, going out there to the customers, selling products to them. We are now able to actually record some of these items on the device itself, where the waiter or the actual wait staff can go to the customer, display the goods on the device itself. You can choose what you require, make the payment. There's a connection back into your point of sale environment, and it's totally seamless. You can mend the queues. Once again, from a data perspective, they were able to sort of understand exactly what are the key items on the shelf that are so much in demand, so that they're able to plan and forecast things a lot more seamlessly and proactively.
And something so big like cash. You think about change. You gotta keep change with you all the time, and everyone's always got a phone. So you'll tap it and it's so much more efficient.
It's so much more efficient. And I mean, once again, you will still have cash within that space. And I think what the SimplyBLU offering does provide you is the ability to do it on the cash side as well. So you can definitely take in the cash piece, but you don't need a separate accounting system or recon to manage those. You can literally record those transactions onto our environment as well. So you obviously have a much more bigger view of exactly how things work.
It's such a valid point. So you're not eliminating cash completely.
100%.
It's an option, but there is a reconciliation that's happening on the device. It's such an interesting space that you play in, and you've obviously seen tremendous changes over the last few years. Where do you see SME payment landscapes going over the next 2 to 3 years? I know it's a long time to think ahead, but where is it going?
If I have to reflect, I mean, once again, on the market at this point in time, you definitely will see a massive demand for embedded finance,
right?
Along with hyper personalization. When I say embedded finance, I mean the ability of you having to offer the customers, businesses, solutions like lending, insurance, value-added services, payment capabilities, all within one environment using some of the transactional data that we would see coming through, rather than you having to use traditional channels that you used to historically, manage in the past. From a data perspective, on the personalization side, almost creating that unique, bespoke, tailor-made, experience for the end user, just so that you are able to proactively manage, your customers, increase the repeat customer rate in the process as well, and obviously having the ability of scaling and managing your businesses more proactively as far as the client experience is concerned.
See, that's so interesting. So really a lot more focused, a lot more personalization.
Yes.
And what you're building at the same time is that loyalty amongst your customer base, which is very, very important.
100%.
What advice do you give to SMEs who, want to prepare for this? They want to stay competitive. They want to stay ahead of the game in a very competitive world where you've got this increasing amount of digital payments and customers, wanting you to offer those kind of services. How do SMEs prepare for all of this?
I think my sort of advice to the SMEs out there would definitely be, one, demand for unification. I mean, don't just, take the standard, simple payment capabilities available out there. I mean, we spoke about this, unified commerce ecosystem that we provide through the SimplyBLU offering at this point in time. So, I mean, we definitely do need to see a massive transition where customers have the ability of managing the in-store card present space, the online environment, invoicing, stock management capabilities, all within one environment. So I think that for me is a big sort of focus. Second is definitely demand for intelligence from a data perspective. I think we've spoken about this around the impact data has within the space, and you can do so much, from a data point of view to make informed decisions more strategically, more proactively within this environment. From a Standard Bank's perspective, it's our responsibility not just to offer a product or a solution to our customers, but rather almost build an ecosystem of support, walking the journey with you, supporting you in terms of the decisions you need to take, and almost partnering for growth. So that once again, if you do require any assistance, any interventions along the way, we are there every step of the way, so that we're able to collectively, build and elevate and take your business to the next level going forward.
It's a partnership, and that involves trust. It involves strategic guidance and everything. And you guys have got the technology.
Yes.
And I, for example, I trust a bank like Standard Bank to really help me along that journey. And at the end of the day, what SMEs want is they want to grow their business. So this is a great product. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
In our studios here at Muzzafar.
Thanks.
Muzzafar Nagvadari, who is the Executive Head of Merchant Solutions Sales and Service SA for Standard Bank. What a great platform. And as an SME, you can see how useful this platform is to really grow your business and understand and get fascinating insights into your business, as opposed to the old way of doing things. Today, you've got these terminals and these apps that are linked. What we've been talking about with SimplyBLU is that it has the ability to really make a difference in your business and unlock tremendous value. So have a word with Standard Bank about SimplyBLU and see how that can change your business as a small, medium enterprise. Thank you for joining us.